We'll start with a beautiful story. Lord Brahma creates the world, and the one he creates it, after that, there are three beings who come out. So, one being is called as Asura, demons. Second was Suras, Devtas, the deities. And third were humans. Three of them are now standing right in front of Brahma, and they are asking, now that we are born, O Lord, please tell us our purpose. Brahma says the three times. One the was for Asuras, one the was for Devtas, and one the was for humans. Brahma says the to Devtas because the means Daman. Daman means controlling the senses. Brahma said the to Asuras because they should do Daya. I felt this state of witness. That substance within you, it cannot be dried, it cannot be made wet. Something cannot vanish it. It cannot be slain through a weapon. That substance is within you. So Brahma said the to human beings because they should do.
In this enlightening episode, we delve into the wisdom and practices of Acharya Shiv. Acharya Shiv is a dedicated yoga teacher and meditation counselor. With expertise in classical yoga, Vedanta, and human psychology, Acharya Shiv provides holistic support to his students. This then promotes a balanced lifestyle which encourages personal growth. He is also the founder of Bharadwaj Education Trust, which is committed to enhancing community well-being through meditation, yoga, and ancient Indian values. Now, this episode is divided into two parts, with the first part being what you're currently listening to. The second part will be released shortly after. Acharya Shiv emphasizes that higher knowledge, charity, kindness, and love are universal gifts meant for everyone, regardless of their background. Join me as we explore his insights. Hari Om Acharya Shivam. Welcome to Inner Habit. How are you today?
Hari Om, thank you so much, Shruti, for having me here. And good to see you.
Thank you for accepting the invite. I appreciate it so much. I was actually looking through Instagram and I was scrolling and I found you through one of my other friends that I was looking through, and I started watching your videos and I was so intrigued by what you were sharing. It was really fantastic. And for me, I wanted to just reach out and say, let's do this podcast because I think you'd add excellent value.
I appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shruti. And first of all, thank you so much for seeing the Instagram, being on Instagram and watching my videos, giving it some time and thinking ki my content really has some value.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. So, I guess to start off with, the first question from me is, how did you get into spirituality, or how did you decide that you wanted to become a spiritual guide, I guess?
I'll start everything with a beautiful mantra. Closing the eyes, I'm remembering my Ishta, my favorite deity Shiva, and Ma Bhagavati Parvati. Om Karpur Gauram Karunavataram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantyam Hridayaravinде Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you so much, Shruti. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll start with a beautiful story. Okay, a little story. And that's how everything will be started. So there's this story in Purana which is about Brahma. So Lord Brahma, who is considered to be the creator in the Trinity in Hinduism. So Lord Brahma creates the world. The one he creates it. After that, there are three beings who come out. So one being is called as Asura, the devils, demons. Second was Suras. So Suras means Devtas, the deities that we call it. Okay. And third were humans. Now, three different people were born. Three of them are now standing right in front of Brahma, and they are asking, now that we are born, O Lord, please tell us our purpose. Why is the reason we are born? Brahma says the three times, the, and the. One the was for Asuras, one the was for Devtas, and one the was for humans. Now, after saying the, Brahma says ki now you guys go and do tapasya, do austerity, do penance, and find out what this the actually means. So Suras, the Devtas, start doing their tapasya, and what they find out is ki Brahma says the to Devtas because the means daman. Daman means controlling the senses. Because if you will hear the stories, when people go to heavens, you will listen ki people are enjoying all sorts of pleasure. There are damsels, there are apsaras roaming around, there are music happening, there are instruments, there are people who are having leisure, people are having luxurious life. What Brahma said to Devatas, ki you guys will have a tremendous life, an amazing life. So you guys will make sure ki you will have daman, controlling the senses. Don't just go in completely into the sensual pleasures. Now Devatas know ki what their purpose of life is, and that is daman, controlling the senses. Now Asuras start thinking what exactly the means for us. Now they start doing penance, and after that what they find out is Brahma said the to Asuras because they should do daya. They should have mercy on beings because Asuras were known to eat people. They were demons, right? They were known to eat people. They were known to bring fear to people, normal human beings, and even devatas. So their purpose was daya, always have daya. Now humans started thinking, now that Suras, the devatas who have all the powers, now they know their purpose. Now even Asuras know their purpose. Now why are we born in the Mrityu Loka, where normal human beings are there? So Brahma said the to human beings because they should do dana, giving to the society, giving. So when I was in my college days, Shruti, one thing always popped up in my mind, and that was how should I serve society? How should I make this world a better place? I saw people are not kind. The only single foundational thing that I have found lacking in people, and I'm talking about people who are billionaires, people who are multi-millionaires in Mumbai. I work in South Mumbai region. I see people who have all the affluencies. People have all the luxury items in their life. They are changing cars every year. What they are missing is just that piece of kindness. A very famous person who actually got associated with me, he was a billionaire. So he wanted a yoga training. So in that time, I think in 2013, I started giving yoga training to people, visiting house and training them. In those days, I was just coming into spirituality. I was losing everything. It was like start of path of enlightenment. I was completely getting into spiritual books. I was reading Kriya Yoga. Every day, I used to make sure I should complete at least 40-50% of book, a spiritual book, any spiritual book it can be. It was my target. And in those times, as I was completing my college and I was not interested in my studies also, I was missing out. Felt like this is not me. This is not my thing. And in those times, I think in 2013, Flipkart came into existence. Flipkart was just starting out. So it was a startup, and I went for an interview because my father said, you are good for nothing. You are good for nothing. Please pack your bags and get up and do something for yourself. At least get your pocket money done. It was a hit and miss situation for me. Now, what should I do? What will be my next path? I feel like I can help people. I have no idea how I can. Imagine the situation. You want to help people, but you have no idea how can you. Then I started reading spiritual books. I started reading gurus. Then my spiritual inclination became more widened. I felt like this is what I was missing in my life. I always felt like this is how I can help people. So in the second time, I got connected to one of the billionaires, and I was very excited. I went to his house. I saw all the cars which I always dreamt of as a young man. I saw Range Rover, I saw Land Rover, I saw Mercedes, Maybach, I saw BMW. Now, as a youngster, I saw these things and I was like, बाप रे, बहुत पैसे वाला बंदा है, बहुत पैसे वाला बंदा है. This thing comes up in a middle class guy. कि यार बहुत पैसे वाला, बहुत पैसे वाला है. And when I met him, everything is building up. God is telling me, you see all the affluences and then see the human being who has achieved it. When I saw the human being, I realized that I am much more richer than him. I am much more richer than him. The first thing that he comes and what he says to the servant, तेरे को बोला था ना शक्कर कम लाने के लिए? I told you the sugar has to be less. इतना डाल के क्यों दिया? चल जा वापस लेके आ. This is what he says. And as he's sitting with me, he's not realizing that right now this person who is coming from outside, thinking about him, judging him, I'm running a whole lot of things in my mind. How this person should be. And this person has to be my ideal. And he starts giving bad words. All the Indian bad words. And at that time I realized this is what we are missing. A simple sense of kindness. How to talk to people. We have achieved all the things. Epigenetics, nanotechnology. But just that, how to talk to people, how to be kind, we can't do that. Is that more for us? As a human beings with so much prefrontal cortex power, with such high rationalism, with all the laws and philosophies that we have created, all we are missing still in the 21st century is kindness. So at that time I realized this world has to learn something from me. And then I went into spirituality completely. Then first time I went into a relationship. A relationship game is completely different, especially in India. You want to do everything for a person. And then all of a sudden I went to my family. I told them this is the person who I like. As I belong to a very orthodox family, they were like, this girl cannot come to our house. This person should not be the part of our family. Again, it made me realize that a person has been judged. A woman of my house is judging another woman and telling how this woman is missing chastity. She has all the bad names in the society. She roams around with thousands of people. And now she is dating you as she feels that she has a better future. This again went off my mind. Once again I realized a human being, a woman, forget about the human beings. A woman of my house is judging another woman and telling ki how she is not having chastity. Her name is bad in the society. And now she is hooking on to you. Once again, the second phase of spirituality started. We actually broke up. I was like, I don't want anything now. I just want to focus on my sadhana. That's it. So all I used to do in those days is I used to come back from my yoga training and reading books, learning, knowing sadhana, doing it. Reading, learning books, doing sadhana and doing it. I used to feel attachment, temptation to meet someone. I used to feel anger. I wanted to kill people, some of the members of my family. So when all these things started coming up in my heart, I realized that, I have to work on myself. And rather than changing world, let me first get my things going. So I started doing my sadhana. I went into spirituality to its core. I learned about Sanatan Dharma. Till 2014, 2015, I always felt these pujas, these rituals, these meditation and everything is just people want to make money through it. Gurus want to make money through it. It has no substance of its own. This world is a bad place to be. So I became a little cynical also in my approach. But then when I went into sadhana, it all changed. I started doing sadhana through Gayatri. Gayatri Mata was the first person who I ever came across. Gayatri Mata, as a mother, she was my first attraction. When I saw her, I used to feel my mother is standing in a universal form. So I got connected to Gayatri Mata. I started learning Gayatri Mantra. Then through Gayatri Mantra, I started learning Vedas, then Yogas, then Shastra, then Shatpat Brahman, innumerable books. And now that I'm here in front of you, I went through 2 or 3 spiritual experiences. A sadhak can go through many experiences. I will not call it an enlightenment or something. It was very spiritual. It was something which was beyond body. I'm still learning. That's all I can say. So that's how this whole story started. So first thing was, I was good for nothing. So I wanted to be something. Second, I wanted to help people. And third, I went through a tough time when it came to relationship. I had to lose someone who was still breathing. Can you believe that? You want to love someone and you're not doing it because you know you have a society, you have a family. You have to be with them in their hard times. So I was growing up, I realized these things are very important. So that the tyaga of losing, letting go of someone, it made me more stronger from within. And now when I cannot do something, I had to put my mind into something more powerful. So there you go. Now fast forward 2014, here I am in front of you with all the little experiences.
You mentioned that you went through certain spiritual experiences. Is that something you can talk about, or is that something that you don't tend to share? Because those experiences can be quite personal.
Well, I think I can talk about it, but in in a nutshell. I won't explain it completely. In a nutshell, in 2022 end, I went to Ladakh to do sadhana, only for sadhana, and it was in the month of November and December. So in those months, Ladakh is completely cold. It's chilled out completely. It's minus 20 degree everywhere. A refrigerator has minus 4 degrees and a freezer has minus 20 degree. So that was the temperature for a Mumbai boy who goes to Ladakh for a meditation. And people saw me, they started laughing. Everyone in Ladakh who saw me, they started laughing. Ki how can you take this stupid decision just to come to this land and do meditation, and that too in minus 20 degree? Where will you find the place? And I was alone. Every time people used to see me like, sir aap akele hain, sir aap akele hain. It cannot be possible. नहीं आप अकेले हो ही नहीं सकते, आपकी फैमिली पक्का होगी साथ. I said I am alone. I am here for a meditation. किस तरह का meditation है, क्या है, बता सकते हैं? I said कि थोड़ा सा please, this is very secret. Please don't ask me all these things. Let me just go and do my sadhana. So I went to a hotel which was a Muslim hotel. Okay, the owner was a Muslim. In the last day of my sadhana, it was a third day. The third upasana day was for Mother Gayatri. I told Mother Gayatri, in my heart, I have read 2-3% of Sanatan Dharma. I have heard about stories, the meditation experiences and this and that, but I have never went through any strong experience of my own. Like if people start asking me, you talk about spirituality, you talk about this and that, okay, tell me about your experience. So till 2023, 2022, I thought that I have no real experience of my own. So I always felt that there is no sign from the universe that I have achieved something, at least on a spiritual note. I said, Mother Gayatri, listen to me carefully. You give me an experience, a sense that you actually exist. This whole thing actually exists. This mantra really does something. Now, over the period of time, from 2016, when I started intense sadhana, from 17, 18, 19 years of my meditation, I saw little experiences here and there. I experienced what I wanted, I always got. I was thinking about this, it happened. So these are very small experiences, but I wanted real one. Now I told Mother Gayatri, you rather give me an experience or I'll not go back to Mumbai again. I'll die as a beggar here, but I'll not go back. It was a prana. It was a promise to Mother Gayatri. Okay, this is my third day of sadhana. It's already been 2 days that I'm here and my family is missing me. All of them are literally concerned what this guy gonna do, why he's having such a good life, why is he spoiling it, going into his own set of spiritual experience. I started doing sadhana on the third day around 8:30 or 9. I felt like I'm not inside the body. I felt like I'm not inside the body. I could feel myself, but I cannot move. First time I felt this state of witness. In spirituality, it is called a state of witness, drashta bhav. You are a sakshi of your own. So in Bhagavad Gita, you will see there is a quote on soul, which is described as Nayanam chindanti shastrani, Nayanam dahati pavaka, na chayana kledayan tyapo, na shoshyati marutah. Nayanam chindanti shastrani. O Arjun, That substance within you, it cannot be dried. It cannot be made wet. Something cannot vanish it. It cannot be slain through a weapon. That substance is within you. It cannot be seen, but it can be felt through the heart. Now Krishna says to Arjun, Aham atma gudakesha sarvabhutashaya sthita. Aham adhishya madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. O Arjun, O Kante. Now Krishna is very clever. He knows how to bring someone into that particular motivational order. So Krishna says, Aham atma gudakesha. I am the one within you, Arjun. Aham atma gudakesha. Sarvabhutashaya sthita. Everywhere I am. Aham adhishcha madhyamcha. I am the creator. I am the one who was always there. I am the one who is right in the middle. Madhyamcha. Bhutanam anta evacha. I will be the one who will destroy this whole creation. If you want to feel my substance, if you want to feel me, start through your heart. So I felt like my heart is what I'm experiencing. I could experience intense palpitation. I could experience my body is not in its senses. Everything is numb. I could hear the noise which was there around me outside the hotel, but I couldn't move. I couldn't see anything. It was all as if I'm flying.
I've actually felt a similar experience, so I absolutely understand. When you say that you had this outer body experience, it is so interesting when you feel like you're looking at yourself and understanding your senses from a very different perception, I think.
Absolutely, 100%. Once again, I think about Adi Shankaracharya, who was the pioneer of Sanatana Dharma. He says, Yogaratova, Bhogaratova, Sangaratova, Sangavihina, Yassam Brahmani Ramate Chittam Randati Nandati Nandateva. So Shankaracharya says, Yogaratova, Bhogaratova. Whether you are doing yoga, whether you are not doing yoga. Sangaratova, Sangavihina. Whether you are with someone or whether you are not with someone. Yassam Brahmani Ramate Chittam Nandati Nandati Nandateva. Whether you are with someone, whether you are not with someone. O Sadhaka, the rishis, the people who are born here, please know, keep thinking about God wherever you go. So I could feel ki every time people are thinking about money, people are thinking about stocks. Here are my friends who are thinking about making more money. Here are my family members. Some of them are talking about politics and this and that. And all I'm thinking about is mother. All I'm thinking about is how can I evolve myself more? How can I help people more? It sounds very kiddish, but then that's what it is.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is new to spirituality?
In the start of my journey, the one substance that I saw right now, a lot of people ask me when they do consultation and everything, how can I find a guru? What you are asking is, where do I start with, right? Is that the question? Okay.
It's interesting because that is the next question I also had, is how you find a guru. So the fact that you've touched on it, it's perfect.
In Shastra, in Bharatiya Shastra, the Indian Sanatana Dharma, Sana and Tana. Sana means existing. Tana means at all times. Something which was always there. Sanatana Dharma is basically a way of life. Why it is called as a way of life? I'll tell you an example. So when people were born, especially in this land, like I have not seen Japan, I have never been there, but I know it exists in the map. It has a place in the universe. So Patanjali says, Pratyaksha Anuman Agama Pramanani. What is the right knowledge? Right knowledge means something that has been seen, something that has a probability is also a right knowledge, right? Third is Agama. Agama means authority. Shastras, the scriptures. In India, people actually started looking in the universe as why they are existing. Western people started collecting things. They said, okay, now we are existing, get things done, get a laboratory, get a civilization, build a drainage system, become a better person, get clothing, get belt, get watches, build a technology, build a comfort. But India, it was a different case altogether. Our Itihasa is very old, and from the Harappan and Indus Valley civilization, we were very affluent. You saw our Raja Maharajas, our gods, they have all the beautiful clothing on their body. Now we don't see it in India, but earlier it was already existing. The golds, the jewelries, the silvers, the bronze, the diamonds, everything was there. Who was doing it? So India was always affluent when it came to the outer things. Now people started thinking, okay, now I have a good life. Now what? Why is the reason I'm existing? What exactly is this? Okay, now I'll tell you something interesting about Vedanta. So if you will read Vedas, the end of Vedas are called as Upanishads. Upanishads, in simple language, if I tell you, is experience of a rishi, how he actually got enlightenment. And he is discussing it with his students, the sadhakas. Okay, that's what Upanishad is. It is also called as Vedanta. So in Vedanta, the rishi is actually discussing how he got curious about God. He wanted to leave everything. And how God exactly is. What is the nature of God? That supremely high personality of Godhead. Indians were never ever fond of outer things. The Aryan civilization was never fond of outer things. All we wanted to chase is why we are born. Go hell with everything. Tell us why we are born. Why am I doing this? This thing in Vedanta is called as, this object is called as watch. The world has told you this is watch. Tell me exactly what it is. You have no idea. Okay? This is a pad, a tablet. The world has told you this is a tablet. Tell me what exactly it is. You have no idea. Who am I? The world has told you that my name is Shiv. The Instagram has told you my name, that I am Acharya Shiv. What not, blah, blah, blah. But do you really know me? Who am I? Okay, the world and your mother actually kept your name Shruti. Nice, fantastic, amazing. Who is Shruti? Who is Shruti? Okay, Shruti considers herself to be a female. Fantastic, amazing. The world feels Shruti is a female. That's fine. What exactly Shruti is? Is she really a female? Every time an identification came, a sadhak, a spiritual seeker, wanted to question why. So that why they took the idea of quantum physics. Now Western people are following quantum physics. They are searching about the senses, they are searching about soul, they are searching about the body. But the Indians were always fond of quantum. They never wanted what is gross. They never wanted what is physical. All they wanted is the quantum. They wanted to feel what is there inside the body which is moving. There is a beautiful segment of Bhagwan Narsimha where he is having a talking session with Prahalad. And Prahalad says exactly what we feel. O Lord Narsimha, the eyes want to see all sensual and attractive things. The ears want to listen all the bad words, all the lusty words. The mouth wants to speak only the harsh things. The body wants to have sexual pleasure. In this entire jargon, dear Narsimha, how can I find a time to glorify you or prostrate in front of you? So Prahlad says ki God, in all these jargon of Maya, I am not finding time to just come in front of you. Take your names, holy names. So we always preferred what is quantum. We always preferred soul beyond everything else. And that's why in India you see everyone who came to India, They wanted to search out spirituality. All the Westerners who come to India, they come with that one attraction, and that attraction is spirituality. Our spirituality is amazing. If somebody is young, if somebody is naive, if somebody is still a layman and he has no idea how to find the soul, there are schools of thoughts in India. He or she must go out there, start reading about scriptures, start learning about Sanatan Dharma. The one book that I can always recommend to people is you start out with Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a core of all the Sanatan Dharma value. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and now Brahma Sutra. Okay, especially Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta, that is Upanishad. If somebody starts reading it just to have a little jinx of it and start contemplating, that's what Vedas say. In Vedas, when rishis came to Guru, in 6 months or 7 months, the gurus just used to make them meditate or just experience life in the ashram. Just leave everything. Do tyaga, do tapasya. They were not talking about meditation. They never used to talk about God darshan, or they never used to talk about some spiritual enlightenment or something. Just do their daily chores. Like Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, who is the pioneer of ISKCON, somebody came to him and said, Ki, what happened after enlightenment? So Srila Prabhupada says, Ki, before enlightenment, I used to fetch water. Now after enlightenment, I'm doing the same. Everything is happening inside. You see? In India, darshan, perspective is the highest thing altogether. The way you see the world is what spirituality is. So for us, how you carry out your daily chores, how you do your everyday work, how you are as a human being, start learning that. And then accordingly, after 6 months, progress into scriptures. Krishna says to Arjuna again, Ki the Shastras will give you the way of doing right and wrong things. Follow that, Arjuna.
What is Hinduism and what would its core beliefs be?
The word Hinduism is basically a little flawed. Okay, Hinduism is a flawed word. It was never Hindu. After the invasion of Persians, after the invasion of Greek people, it actually became Hindu. It was actually a Sindhu. Okay, yeah, Sindhu was the real word. That's why still in near Pakistan, the Sindhu still has the existence, but not in India now anymore. But Sindhu was the Nadi through which the people who were residing around it used to be known. The Sindhus. Now there is a Sindhi community which comes all the way from the Sindh, Prant of Pakistan. Their ancestors still stay in Pakistan. A lot of Sindhis in Mumbai and India are actually belonging to the ancestors who are coming from Pakistan. So we are actually, the Hindus are basically called as Aryans. Okay, they can be called as Aryans. One more thing that they can be called as is Sanatan Dharmis. Okay, Aryans were basically people who actually traveled a lot. They also went to Thailand.
Aryans are warriors, right?
In those times, if you will read Hebrew Bible, there is a story of Moses, where Moses is basically confronting the whole Egyptian civilization. And Moses, who is basically a Israeli, is getting married to a tribal woman who is a part of a Mandanite culture, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, she was a tribal woman. So people used to travel a lot. Like those travels, there were huge amount of people who used to travel in India also. So people who existed, people who traveled, people who actually created their sources wherever they stayed were called as Aryans. And Aryans picked up weapons if they wanted to save themselves. Okay, so Aryans and Dravidians are basically all belonging to the same category and community. Now because of the Western writers and because of the politics and vote bank, people are creating this bad politics ki, Dravidians are different, Aryans are different. Aryans who actually are the one who invaded in India, but it was never the case. Aryans were always there. And in those times where civilization was quite Everyone was just starting out. There was nothing. There was nothing in the existence. So people used to just find out places to stay. So people who found places to stay near Sindhu Nadi were called as Sindhus. But the Persians and the Greek people, they couldn't pronounce it clearly. So some of them used to call Indu, some of them used to call them Hindu. Now, after that, it became Hindu. And you know, in India, our culture is basically, it is a very tolerant culture. We love including people. We enjoy everyone's coexistence. I'll give you an example of Krishna. In Gita, Krishna is inspiring Arjun to have a war. But in the 18th of chapter, he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshami mashucha. Sarva dharman parityajya. Oh Arjun, forget about all the duties. Okay, forget about all the duties. Simply surrender on to me. I'll get rid of all your sins. What Krishna actually means is, if you cannot bring anything, if you cannot have all the knowledge, if you're not intelligent enough to learn scriptures, simply surrender. The Bhakti Yoga, the rise of Bhakti Yoga. So when Persians and Greek came to us, they called us Indu, we were happy. When they called us Sindhu, we were still happy. If I'm your good friend, I might take your name in a very different way. In place of Shruti, I might call you Kruti. You will still like it. If you have a good friendship with me, you might still like it. You will say, okay, it's fine. You can call me Kruti also. So like that, we Aryans were happy that people were calling us Indu. So those Indu, Sindhu and whatnot, it came out as a Hindu civilization. Now if you will go to Hindu Shabdakosh, in Hindi Shabdakosh, Hindutva and Hindu has an existence. Now we are established as Hinduism. Okay, people who follow the Hindu culture. I always say this to people. Every time, where exactly will I call myself Sanatan Dharmi? It's a long word. Sanatan Dharmi is a long word. How will I expect myself to call as, okay, I'm an Aryan. Aryan is a name. So now we find more convenience in calling ourselves as, okay, I'm a Hindu. If that is what you feel, I'm a Hindu. But I'm a Vedic religion follower also. I'm a Vedic Pratishtha follower also. I'm a follower of Vedas also. So in Hindi Shabdakosh, if you will see Hindutva means somebody who worships God as a deity in Murti, somebody who does puja, somebody who does ritualistic things, somebody who chants mantra, all is a part of Hindutva. Okay, so Hindu right now is a very political term, and that's why people are afraid of calling themselves Hindu. But that's not the case. I am a Hindu. I am a good human being, and I'm a Hindu, and I'm proud of my identification. People of Greece, people who are Persians, called us in a wrong way, but now here we are. This is how we are known as. Muslims are known as Mohammedans, but they never call themselves Mohammedans. They always call themselves as Muslims. So I think Hinduism is a gift to the world. Hindus are the gift to the world. We were the first who actually started learning about quantums. Okay, not by just having research papers and clinical trials and all the things. We actually went deep into sadhana. We found out I cannot go to Japan, I cannot go to America, I cannot go to all the cities because I'm not rich enough. But I can still find the Supreme Personality of Godhead if I sit at one place and give my long hours contemplating on that substance, which is called as meditation.
I often hear people saying karma, and they often use it as a form of punishment. First thing they say is, I believe in karma, obviously wishing bad for you. Can you explain what karma actually is and how one breaks from it, like breaks free from it?
I'll come to Gita again. So we are coming to Gita because it's the core. It's how which the Hinduism is actually known to the world. I am not the savior of Hinduism. I won't say that because I am one of the Sagata, one of the seekers of this culture. Krishna says to Arjun when he talks about yoga, the yoga sthiti. He says, Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita duskrite tasmada yoge yujjasva yoga karmashu Kaushalam. So Arjun is in doubt in the middle of the war. He is inside the war right now. He is preparing himself, but he cannot do it. Krishna is providing the motivation. Arjun is backfiring with the question. You're talking about a lot of knowledge and this and that, this yoga, that yoga. But tell me how exactly, I start with. How do I start with? The simple question that we always ask. Yukta Buddhi is the way of starting out and doing a karma. And what is Yukta? Yukta means somebody who is balanced, Santulit. If you will go to the Mahan Acharyas of Varanasi, who are actually core to their knowledge, who actually know something about culture and has actually spent time to meditate and learn about spirituality, they will always say the balance is the most toughest thing in the world. People might talk about it. People might talk about it nicely, but it is the most toughest thing. And that's what Krishna says in Gita in a nutshell. Have a balanced life. Arjun, have a yukta buddhi as you pursue right and wrong, good and bad in this material world. Then the yoga will rise inside you. And what is that? Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Dexterity in doing your karma is yoga. कर्म की कुशलता ही योग है अर्जुन. Skillfully doing your work, not thinking about what is right or what is wrong, and not putting time to gain something, and not putting time to finding out what are you losing something. Simply doing your karma with yukta buddhi is a yoga. And that's what karma siddhant says in the start. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya yukta avabodhasya. Arjun, the diet has to be yukta, balanced, santulit. Sleep has to be santulit, balanced. Yukta cheshtasya, even the effort has to be balanced. Even the efforts of life has to be balanced completely. So Krishna says to Arjun about karma siddhanta for the first time, and all he says is when you start doing karma with yukta buddhi, not thinking about what is right and what is wrong, simply doing it for the sake of it. Okay, and that's why we move ahead with a very famous Gita shloka. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karman phale hetur bhurmate sangosto karmani. Arjun, simply focus on doing the karma. Do not think about the fruit of it. Simply focus on doing the karma. Stop thinking about the fruit of it. If you truly do the karma, not thinking about the fruit, the karma becomes pure beyond all the sin and all the bad patches or the spots. So your karmas, if you will say, how can I purify myself? So the first step to purification is to just exist and do your karmas. Not thinking about the contemplation, not thinking about what this karma will give me, what this karma will not give me. Too much contemplation, too much intelligence, rationalizing something, putting preconceived notions into some aspect. When you are in that buddhi, that intelligence, the God intelligence will not take the work. Okay? So some level of surrender has to be there when you're doing the karma. Just do the karma, do not think the fruit, or do not think about the fruit of it.
So karma in essence is action.
Only. Only action.
Action, and don't think about the rewards.
Absolutely. Krishna again has a word for it. He says yogakshema. What is yogakshema? The action which is beyond profit and loss. Beyond profit and loss. Like if I want to love someone, I'm not thinking about what is profit, what is loss. All I want to do is love. I always see Western people are quite fond of pets, especially dogs. And India has the same culture now. Now when I visit any house, I see people, a lot of them come, hi Shiv sir, hi, what's up? And all they say is, sir, dogs, they are very loyal. They are the one who actually not conditioned with love. But I always start thinking about it. You are the one who created the condition, right? You were the one who created conditions, right? And you did that, and now you're saying a pet has a more power to love compared to human beings. How minuscule is that? How minuscule is that? It's okay. A pet is beautiful. A pet is nice. You can keep it in the house if you're fond of it. But you are not thinking about you just want to keep the pet. You don't want to get rid of your insecurities. You are keeping the pet because you feel lonely. Is that the right way of loving? If I go into a relationship just because I feel lonely, is that what love is? 100% not. That's how people start keeping pet. All reasons. Every time I hear a reason, they're like, "Oh, Shivsa, I'm very sorry. Akshat went to London. Anushka is not here. She is into her own. I want someone to be with me." And then you need a pet. How good is that? And then you say you love that pet. Is that? So, yogic shame, I always say this, yogic shame has to be learned beyond profit and loss, beyond good and bad. There is a space, and that is where love is. Yeah.
My view then is, how come bad people tend to get everything they want in this world? And why good people always struggle to get what they want? Now, if you look at the concept where you say love, okay, assume that one person loves another so much, yet the other person, for example, doesn't love the other person that much. So then, that is one thing that really I think about. But the other thing also is, how is it possible that the worst people in the world will get whatever they want, and the most purest people with the purest heart do everything with purity will get nothing but insult?
I'll tell you something about astrology. The pioneer of astrology is Maharshi Bhrigu. Okay? Maharshi Bhrigu created Bhrigu Sanghita, through which the whole astrology game is happening right now. Okay? So what happens in Bhrigu's life is Bhrigu is sitting right near the Ganges, and he is praying to all the Sapta Nadis, the Pavitra Nadis, the rivers of India. And there is also a pratna for this. Ganga cha Yamune chaiva Saraswati Godavari Narmade Sindha Kaveri Jales means Sanidhim Kuru. Bhrigu prays, and then he starts writing the Kundali of Rama, Lord Rama. Okay? He says to Dasharath, this person has everything in his life, every wonderful thing. He is going to be the Raghav. He will be the Raghavendra. He will be not the emperor, but the one who is called as the higher of all the emperors. Okay, the Ayodhyapati. Okay, the Raghupati. He will be the best in his life. And what about the consort? Oh, he will have a fantastic married life. She'll be beautiful. She'll be amazing. He will have fantastic children also. Bhrigu, who is the creator of Jyotish Vidya, says to Dasharath, the father of Bhagavan Ram, कि everything is going to be beautiful. Lord Rama's life is a witness for all of us. How it was a struggle from the day he was born. Like today's Janmashtami. Rama's story is people are very familiar with that. But what about Krishna? He was born in Mathura jail. But he couldn't stay there. Couldn't be with his own mother. They took him out because there was the problem with Kansa, the Mamaji. He took him out. He took him to Nandagopa. Nandagop was the person who was staying in Nandagaon, which was closer to Mathura. Okay, so he was taken to Nandagaon. Then God was taken into Nandagaon. After that, there also he had problems. The devils, the demons used to come, and even Kansa was behind him. He knew that now Devaki has done something, something strange, something really wrong. She has hidden her child somewhere in Nandagaon. So he starts taking out all his Sena, all his people to find out and kill Krishna as soon as they find him. He couldn't stay for long in Nandagaon. The whole family goes to Vrindavan. After Vrindavan, when the Kansa was killed, after the Ras Leela and the whole incident, now the same Krishna is taken to Dwarka, which is closer to Gujarat right now. And now he's a Dwarkadhish. After he became a Dwarkadhish, still life was not easy for him. First of all, after the incident of Vrindavan, He was actually shifted to Dwarka because he had problems. His whole family had problems with the Jarasandha because Kansa was killed, and Kans was basically husband of somebody who was in close relation with Jarasandha. Now Jarasandha, because Kansa was killed because of Krishna, he wanted to take war on Krishna and his people. Krishna's life and Rama's life was just simply like a paigambar, from one place to the another place. This was a life of God. Now imagine the pain they went through in their life, and imagine the pain that we are going through. Is it even comparable? No, we cannot compare it. We cannot compare it. So when I say pain, it depends on what pain actually means to me. If pain as a seeker means purification of karma, let the pain be the only thing in my life. Okay, so this is like a hypothesis, and this is not me saying this. This is Krishna mentions into Gita. I don't remember the shlok, but so Krishna says, Arjun, if the pain comes to you, it's the purification of a karma. So every time a pain comes to your life, every time something bad happening in your life is a way of testing you, is a way of purifying your soul. That's why you always see when people are hit on the back, when people are backstabbed, when people face something really difficult in their life, that's where the time they turn into spirituality. That's the time they become very spiritual.
I have noticed this. A lot of people say that, and this is something that comes up quite often in spirituality, is that only the people who are struggling in their life or who are going through mental trauma, depression, go into spirituality. And this is something that I wanted to actually also ask you. Is it only at this times that people practice spirituality? Or, do people outside of this practice it as well? So you are, I guess, one prime example who actually went into this without any of these issues, but looked at it from a very different perspective.
Patanjali says about Prakriti Layanam. So people are born with Jatir Ayu Bhogah. The way I am born and my inclination to spirituality depends also on my past karmas, in my past life. That is my Jati, my Ayu, and my Bhoga is decided from my past karmas. Now I have no idea about my past life. And that's what Gita in Tathagat, Buddha, in Buddha's life, Buddha says the same thing. If the person has been stabbed in front of you for no reason, you have no idea about the reason, will you save the person or will you just go and find out who was the one who stabbed? Of course, first you will save the person, right? So Buddha says, let's work on the values of life. That's why he came out with those the noble principles, which was actually inspired by Patanjali Sutra. The Patanjali Sutras and the noble principles of Buddhas are actually the same. That's why I always say कि Buddha was a sane person, 100% a Hindu, okay, who was a curious soul, who was an enlightened soul, an amazing soul, okay. He came up with his own philosophy, which was called as Buddhism, and now the world starts following it. The Buddha always revered pain as something which is a purificatory measure, something which is purifying your soul. Even for that case, Socrates considered the same thing. Every time he used to see pain, he used to laugh, he used to smile. God has given him a chance to purify his soul. Same goes with the philosophy of Moses. So Moses also never had a very, a stable life. He was a murderer in his life. He was the one who actually murdered someone. And then he started running out. So he was also called as the Prince of Egypt. And after that, he did a murder. And then he ran away all the way to a travel land where he got married to someone. So even in that time, Moses says to God, the God's name is Yahweh, who is right at the top of the mountain. And he is calling him, Moses, come to me. Moses, show them the way. Now Moses has no idea about his karmas. Moses is also an angry human being. He has never done tapasya or anything like that. He goes to the top of the mountain and he sees God. Now, a lot of people will start asking, if Moses never did meditation, how actually God came in front of him? Well, the answer is very simple. He had past karmas with him. He was a chosen person. From his past life, he was a chosen person, that he will be the one, he will be the Mukti Data. He will be the one who will liberate the Israelis. So after 400 years of ruling the Egyptians did on Israel, Moses was a chosen person of God, who was full of flaws, who was full of negativity, who was a murderer. And imagine God comes in front of him. This is because Patanjali says Prakriti Layanam. Sadhakas, seers, this happens because Prakriti Laya. This is all nature, the past nature that comes right in front of people. So I am here because of my Jati, Ayu and Bhoga. What I have done, my Jati, which is Hinduism, Ayu, my age, my experience, and Bhoga, what I have dealt with. You can be a sinner and you can still find God. Tulsidas. Tulsidas was a person who was actually a very sensual human being. He used to love his wife. He used to take wife's name. God was never a thing of Tulsidas' life. And imagine now the north, the whole North India is known through Tulsidas Ramayana. And he says, Siya Ram mein sab jag jani, karahu pranam jori jugapani. The same Tulsidas, who was actually a very sensual human being, who used to love his wife, cannot be without wife. Even a wife will start feeling very clingy, right? Ki yaar, this guy, he always keeps sticking on to me. He doesn't have his own life or what? So Tulsidas' wife did the same thing. She said ki, अरे प्रभु आपका अपना जीवन है. You have your own life. कैसे हो सकता है कि आप मेरे मायके मेरे ससुराल भी आ गए? ये क्या तरीका है? You also came to my mother's house. Is that the way? Am I going somewhere? Rather, you have so much devotion to me. Please have this devotion to God. That was the realizing point of Tulsidas. My wife, who I love so much, says कि rather than loving me so much, go put an effort to know God. At least you will get some punya. The same person is now the pioneer of one of the famous Ramayana mythology, and that is Tulsi Das Ramcharitmanas. The whole north is known from it. And Siya Ramamay Sab Jag Jani, he says, when I meet people, all I see is Rama. सबके अंदर मैं राम को ही नमस्कार करता हूं. Maybe he was a sinner through principles, but now he is the one who had darshan of Hanuman. He is a writer of Ramcharitmanas. Same story with Valmiki. Valmiki was a Ratnakar, a Gunda, somebody who is a dacoit, okay, somebody who used to kill people. And all of a sudden, Narad comes and makes him realize in an avatar, okay, what you're doing, tell your wife and your children, okay, will they have 50-50% when they go back? That tell them you are a sinner, you kill people, and tell them to have that 50% karma and share it with them. Tell them to share your karma with them. Ratnakar goes to his wife and says ki I kill people, I snatch, and I give you guys all the comfort. Will you guys accept my karma 50-50%? What the wife says? Wife says, this is your karma. Why will I? So Ratnakar changed in that particular time. Ratnakar realized that this world is actually a very mean place to be. Once this story of Ratnakar was done, he became the pioneer of Ramayana, which is called as Valmiki Ramayana. So you see, people who are realized, pious, people who are enlightened, had a very tough life. We never lived it. Now we listen to them as a stories. That's why we find it exciting, adventurous. But it was not. Just think about it, who was living in place of Ram, somebody who was Rama. A person who could have several women as a Ayodhya Pati. He's a Raghav. He is a good looking. He is amazing. He is handsome. But he still chooses Sita. He goes to Sri Lanka to find her. He could have said, okay, it's fine. Raman can take Sita. I can have someone new. But he had some principles. He had his values. He knew he wants Sita back. He went to Sri Lanka. He got Sita back again, just for the Dharam Sthapana. And after that, Rama, when he goes to the 14 years of exile, brings Sita back to India. The Ayodhya incidents happen. People start celebrating. The Diwali comes up. After that, he takes a samadhi when children are born. Love and Kush are born, and he cannot see his children also. A god, an incarnation of God, takes a birth as a human being and faces pain everywhere. And imagine the prediction of Bhrigu Rishi. Everything will be amazing. He'll be a good leader. He will have a beautiful wife. That's the thing. Pain is there, but pain, it also depends on how you take pain as. For me, pain is a purificatory measure. It's the way that makes me realize, oh, God is still connected with me. Thank you.